What's up, YouTube family and Browns fans everywhere? This is Cleveland football, and I'm your host, Terrence Hudson. All right. Somebody's gotta win, and somebody's gotta lose. Hey, I usually reserve that song for the playoffs, but you know about the controllers. Somebody has to play the fool. Somebody had to laugh. And sometimes you gotta cry. I'll leave that there, I'll leave that alone. I usually preserve that for the playoffs. But yeah, what a night last night. It's Victory Thursday. I am digging it. We came out and we handled business. And like I thought we would and like I thought we should. To be honest, my Browns showed me something last night because after the way the Jets game ended, it's hard. It's hard. Sometimes that taste can linger and spill over in the next game, where sometimes you'll lose one game based on what happened the previous game. All right. But they showed me some mental toughness and coming back out and being focused and locked in and went and handled business and played a full 60 minutes. All right. And beat a team that they should have beat. Okay. So, hats off to him. Jacoby Brissett, 21 for 31, 220 yards and a TD. The guy's looking good, man. He looked like he has command of this offense. I saw him making checks at the line, getting the line in place, changing plays. He's doing things that you want to see out of a starting quarterback. And the man is looking good, Nick Chubb did his thing, 23, 113 and a TD. Cooper, what a game. 7 catches, 101 and a TD, and he had a drop. So it could have been even better than that. And David Njoku is alive. 8 for 89 and a TD. Njoku, he looked excellent last night. That's what you need to see out of him every game, all right? Every game. Now that we know you can do it, okay? Now that we've seen you do it, all right? Like a teacher told me once, I get a B on one test and you come back and you get a D on the next. No, I've seen you get a B, okay? So I know you can do it, all right? So you can't take off. Let's keep this up every game. Let's stay locked in. Let's stay focused, all right? The defense did a nice job of preventing the big play, all right? There were no blown coverages this game. It looked like guys were in place, locked in. We didn't give up the big play. They had some drives here or there, but when it came down to it and when we needed to make stops, we made it the stops that we need to make. And we even got down for a little bit. We missed an extra point. We go down by 1. We did not panic. We did not crumble. We came back out, did what we were supposed to do, took control at the line of scrimmage and made plays. Kept Harris to 56 yards rushing. They barely rushed over 100 yards. I mean, Johnson, 8 catches for 84 yards for Pittsburgh. But for the most part, we held these guys in check and did what we were supposed to do. And now we're at the top of the division, at least for a couple of days. And unfortunately, we've seen some guys go down. JLK and Walker are 2 linebackers. So I'm hoping JLK can get back. It looked like he had a quad. Hopefully that is something that keeps him out for an extended period of time. And then we saw Walker take a nasty hit. Bent his head back and then pounced on him afterwards. Was it legal? I don't know. So I wonder if the league will take a look at that. But it looked like he had his leg wrapped when he left. So we wishing him a speedy recovery. We want to have all our guys back. But if they cannot go, it's next man up. And we have to get the job done. Next week, we're looking at the Falcons. Okay? Cannot take the Falcons light. They have lost 2 close games. Their first 2 games were very close, and they were in both of those games, once against the Saints and the other against the Rams, all right? And they scored some points. They have some pieces. They have a Marcus Mariota. They probably don't forgot about Mariota, Okay, Mariota can make plays with his legs. He can make plays with his arms. They have a young receiver, 6'4" guy, big guy in Drake London. He can make plays. And then they got a Cordero Patterson. I call him the Swiss Army knife. You see him at running back, wide receiver, kick return, punt return. They run a jet sweep. They could put Patterson anywhere on the offense. They got some guys that can make some plays. We cannot take them lightly. All right, you going to Atlanta. This is not a vacation. All right, you're going to handle business. You're going to handle business. And so I'm glad to see that we were able to bounce back. That showed me some toughness. And they got a little cold last night. See, I got my jacket on, my fall hat. You know, it's a little cold out there in Northeast Ohio today. But we handled business, and I was glad to see that, especially against a rival in the AFC North. Whew, these games right here. This is where you can become a legend. This is where the city fall in love. We in love with our Browns no matter what. Rain, sleet, or shine, no matter the record, but this is where you really got to give back to the fans when it comes to games like this, the rivalry games, fighting for the playoff spots, fighting for every yard, and finishing games. All right, finishing games, and we finished last night. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so let's get back at it. Let's get in the film room. All right, don't take film for granted. Study your opponent. All right, one of my biggest regrets in my playing career is I didn't like to watch film. Just kind of like in high school. I didn't like to study. It was like, oh, a drag for me to read this chapter or look over these notes. You know, it wasn't until I got to graduate school where I understood the importance of studying and reading and researching, and I fell in love with it. Now I could get into a book, get into an article, and I could just dive right into it. But back then, high school and undergraduate, it was so hard for me to get into that, and I think it was to my detriment. I would have been a much better player at those levels hadn't I been a film junkie in that sense. All right, so you have to study and know your opponent, and I'm thinking that's where those blown coverages was coming from at the beginning of. At those first two games. Either one, you're lackadaisical because you think the game is over, or two, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, well, I didn't get the call. I didn't get the check. We didn't know. We wasn't on the same page. Because if a team's coming out in a certain formation and then you are supposed to adjust your coverage to that formation, okay, is it because we can't hear, we didn't get the signal, or you just don't know what you're doing? All right, if it's you don't know what you're doing, then you're not in your playbook, you're not watching film. All right, so make sure we watching film, make sure we studying our opponent, learning tendencies, looking at formations, all right, based on down and distance. If they come out in this formation, if it's third and short, third and long, what do they do on second and medium, second and long? We need to know all these things, and that comes with watching film and studying. So I'm encouraging you guys to do that, okay? All right, so that's what we got here. Shout out to my Browns, and I will see you next week. After the Atlanta Falcons game, we should be 3-1 at this point, and then that's when we get to the meat of our schedule. Is not going to get any easier for us after this one. I'm telling you, where we'll see team after team, playoff team after playoff team, division team after division team, the Ravens. We'll see the Dolphins. We'll see the Buccaneers. Like, we're going to see some squads, and we're going to have to come with it. All right, so let's do it. If you like, hit the like button. Be sure to share, be sure to comment, and be sure to subscribe.